front end was floating a bit at 230 mph, says Toyota's pro driver, Craig Stanton. Other than that, it was flawless. Forgive us for being, chickens, but we'd suggest a bit of front-end floatiness isn't something to brush over at 230 miles per hour. Not to Stanton and his comrades, though, their bravery has just seen this Land Cruiser claim the title of world's fastest SUV. It hit 230.02 miles per hour on a North American runway, stealing honors from Brabus, whose bi-turbo V12 GL claims 211 miles per hour. We thought, why don't we take a Land Cruiser, make it ultra-powerful, and just see how fast we can make it can go, says the manager of Toyota's Motorsport Technical Center, Chuck Wade. The answer, it turns out, is very fast. But how do you make a near 3-ton SUV faster than a LaFerrari? Top Gear went behind the scenes before the record, in Toyota's Los Angeles-based Skunk Works department, to see the land speed cruiser take shape. Now, the Brabus's route to going quickly was simple. Take the smallest, lightest Mercedes SUV and put a twin-turbo V12 in it. Simple. Toyota's route, however, is a little less obvious. As standard, the Land Cruiser weighs 2.6 tons and has the aerodynamic profile of an. Anything that is limited to 3000 bhp is good in TG's book. The biggest change to the engine is its new turbos, which sit behind those gaping intakes sitting below each headlight. Described by the team as volleyball-sized, they're ball-bearing turbos made by Garrett, able to provide up to 5 psi of pressure. Note their wire mesh housing, so they can gulp in lots of cool air but stay unclogged by unfortunate rabbits or coyotes, when they're at Toyota's Arizona proving ground. The Land Cruiser's standard automatic gearbox has gone, replaced by a drag-minded 3-speed gearbox with an overdrive. It's built to handle 3000 bhp. Chuck has fitted a Weissmann locker differential, a bitchin' diff, he affirms, while the suspension is from Toyota's aftermarket TRD team. It's been revalved and resp-rung, while the car, you've no doubt noticed, sits around 5 inches lower than standard. Pier beneath and the exhaust setup is practically a work of art, though for the high-speed runs, there's a clean underbelly panel fitted to aid aerodynamics. You might have guessed the aero would need some work, but it's also the area with some of the quickest gains. There are cameras rather than wing mirrors, we don't want elephant ears. It doesn't weigh any less, mind, even though the interior's been trimmed down and the back seats removed. It's a 6,000 pounds vehicle still. We didn't save weight. We didn't make a race vehicle. It's 5,960 pounds, 2.7 tons, full of fuel oil and driver. That's good for traction. The real neat thing about its tires, Michelin Pilot Supersports, is that in their normal application, they're run under a lot of downforce, so they're built for weight. Ferraris and Lamborghinis and things, huge downforce. I looked at the tires for the Bugatti Veyron at first, and the guys said don't even think about it, because they're hugely expensive. We got these Michelins totally off the shelf. I bought this one from Tire Rack. They asked how long we want to sustain high speed, and I said just long enough to do the high speed. These tires have got over 300 miles per hour in them. Chuck can't wait any longer. Having talked me through his team's handiwork for an hour or so, he's desperate to show me what it's all resulted in. Given the relatively subtle body kit, he suggested the Land Speed Cruiser is a sleeper. When he starts up that V8, the ignition taking a short while to catch, before the warehouse practically falls down around us when all 8 cylinders fully kick into life, I conclude no one with a pulse could sleep with this thing around. He takes me on his regular test route, essentially a rectangle around a block of this workshop, and it's all on public roads. Naturally, he keeps things nice and mellow, though the engine is still too loud for any flowing conversation. If I go down this street too fast, that police car over there might turn around and follow, so I'll just try to be a little careful here, he bellows over the noise, as the engine idles at a stoplight. Just as it creeps out of view, the lights change, and Chuck demonstrates a reasonable amount of first gear. On cold tires, it sends the land speed cruiser into a power slide. Relaxed as anything, Chuck counters gears and changes. Fast forward a couple of months and Chuck's pride and joy is at Mojave Air and Spaceport. Because when you need a length of tarmac large enough to get a 6,000 pounds car the edgy side of 200 miles per hour, you need somewhere designed for space travel. The runway is 2.5 miles long. The team has split this into 1.5 miles for the land speed cruiser's acceleration, and a whole mile for braking. Racer Craig Stanton is the driver tasked with warming up the car ready for its record attempt. Every single movement is super critical, he says. Spending 3 seconds coming off the throttle, spending 3 seconds transferring to the brake, so you're super smooth and not dramatically transferring weight around the car. The first time I drove it was all-wheel drive and super stable. Then it was turning to rear-wheel drive and I was thinking, how's this going to work? Is the back end going to step out with all that power? Will the back just want to pass the front? Then at our proving ground it was hitting almost 190 miles per hour. I could steer it and change lanes, 6,000 pounds with a bit of aero, and it didn't do anything funny or strange or out of character. And once. A good confidence booster for topping 211 miles per hour at Mojave, then. Our objective is 220 miles per hour. I'm thinking with a couple of mods we can go 230, 240. I'm just worried about the other end, knowing we've got enough space to slow down. With an almost movie-like plot, the team's chance to top 211 miles per hour doesn't come until the very last run of the day, with only a small amount of the land speed cruiser's ethanol/fuel mix left. It's fair to say the 26-gallon fuel tank has been emptied several times in the run-up to its run. The record run stunt pilot, recently retired NASCAR driver Carl Edwards, pictured right, spookily sets 211 miles per hour on his first run, with barely an inch left for slowing the big Toyota from any higher speed. Which is where having a power figure so short of the engine's limits suddenly seems a very good idea. With the boost pressure of the turbos raised, power can edge up from 1900 bhp and Carl can hit a higher speed earlier. And he does exactly that, recording 230.02 miles per hour with braking room still to spare. It's a script worthy of Hollywood. Save for the slightly imperfect ending, because there's no actual place in the record books. But we thought let's still do it by ourselves and record the data. We still want to say that this is the fastest. Lots of people can't believe we did this, especially for such a large company with liability to think about. There are still a ton of people out there who want to do things that are inspiring, exciting, and innovative. Chuck and his team really did do it, though. The final word must go to the man behind the wheel at the exact moment they did, racing retiree Carl Edwards. At 225 miles per hour, the thing was wandering a little bit. All I could think was that Craig said, no matter what, just keep your foot in it, and we got 230 miles per hour. What a way to fill his newfound free time, Ed.